Assassin's Creed used to mean three things: fluid parkour that made movement feel like a superpower, stealth systems that rewarded patience, and assassinations that felt earned, not random. If you missed that core experience but are done with Ubisoft's checklist-driven bloat, these 10 games scratch the same itch in different ways. Some through movement, some through stealth puzzles, some through brutal, meaningful combat. No spoilers, no filler. Let's get into it.
The Ghost. Some say he died on the beach.
Ghost of Tsushima feels like classic Assassin's Creed, just cleaned up and dropped into a samurai movie. You play as Jin, a samurai trying to protect his island from a Mongol invasion, torn between fighting with honor and doing whatever it takes to win. Moment to moment, you're riding through fields and forests, following the wind to points of interest instead of chasing icons on a cluttered HUD. You climb cliffs, temples, and shrines, sneak through tall grass, slip into forts from the rooftops, and pick off Mongols with chain assassinations, kunai, and smoke bombs when you want to play like a ghost. When stealth fails, or you choose to go loud, combat turns into tight stance-based sword fights, where timing your parries and dodges matters more than mashing attack, and well-executed standoffs let you drop multiple enemies in a single, clean sequence. Side tales, duels, and mythic quests break up the main path and make the island feel alive without drowning you in pointless errands. If you mostly stick to Jin's main story, you're looking at around 20 to 25 hours. Exploring side quests, liberating camps, and chasing cosmetics easily pushes it into the 35 to 40-hour range. Sekiro is what you play when you're done with easy assassinations and want the game to actually fight back. You're Wolf, a shinobi sworn to protect his young lord in a twisted version of Sengoku-era Japan, armed with a grappling hook, a katana, and a very limited tolerance for your mistakes. You grapple between rooftops, temple beams, and cliffs, scouting enemy positions from above, then dropping down for quick stealth kills to thin the herd before you face tougher enemies head-on. Bosses and mini-bosses don't melt to cheap tricks. You win by learning patterns, blocking and deflecting attacks to break posture, and staying calm under pressure, not by grinding better gear. There are still secrets, side paths, and optional challenges, but the game keeps its focus on tight combat and movement instead of filling your map with icons, which makes every shortcut you unlock and every enemy you overcome feel deserved. Multiple endings exist, but the script here won't touch how to get them, so you can discover that on your own. The first main story run usually takes around 25 to 35 hours, while hunting down all bosses, exploring every corner, and going for full completion can push your total time up to 60 to 70 hours. Dying Light 2 is what happens if Assassin's Creed parkour and melee combat were shoved into first person and dropped into a city full of infected. You play as Aiden, a wandering outsider chasing leads about his past while getting pulled into a power struggle between human factions and the monsters that own the streets at night. Traversal is the main hook. You're sprinting across rooftops, chaining wall runs, climbing ledges, swinging from bars and cables, and using a paraglider or grappling hook to keep the ground as far away as possible. On the ground, fights are brutal, up close and messy. Kicks, dodges, slide attacks, and improvised weapons with limited durability, so you're always thinking about whether a fight is worth the wear on your gear. At night, the game flips, stronger infected come out, chases trigger easily, and just stepping into the wrong alley can turn into a desperate sprint to the nearest safe house, which makes every rooftop and escape route you learned during the day suddenly matter a lot more. Choices in certain missions shift which factions control parts of the city, changing parkour routes, traps, and what tools you get access to, giving you some replay value on top. The main story alone is around 20 to 30 hours, and doing a decent chunk of side quests, exploring buildings, and messing with night runs can easily push you into the 40 to 50 plus hour range. Shadow of War is for you if you like hunting targets in Assassin's Creed, but wish your enemies actually remembered what you did to them. You play as Talion, a ranger bound to a wraith, cutting your way through Mordor while brainwashing orc captains and turning Sauron's army against itself. You scale fortress walls like they're nothing, sprint along battlements, and dive straight into patrols to land brutal stealth kills or to brand leaders so they secretly fight for you later. The Nemesis system is the star. Orcs that kill you don't just respawn, they come back with scars, new strengths, and fresh lines about how they wrecked you last time, so every failure shapes who controls the map. As you take over regions, you pick which captains lead your own assault forces, then launch fortress sieges, where you decide which of your orcs hold the gates, man the walls, or stab their allies in the back once the fight kicks off. It's still an open-world action game, but that dynamic enemy hierarchy makes it feel way more personal than just clearing outposts. A focused main story run lands at about 20 hours, while taking your time with side missions, orc management, and full region control can push your playtime past 50 hours easily. Rise of the Ronin is probably the closest thing right now to an Assassin's Creed in Japan that isn't made by Ubisoft. You play as a customizable Ronin in 19th century Japan, moving through a country caught between old traditions and new foreign powers, picking sides in conflicts that actually shift the story around you. You spend a lot of time gliding and grappling across towns and battlefields, using rooftops and high points to scout targets before dropping into sword fights or silent takedowns. Combat comes from Team Ninja, so it's faster and harsher than Assassin's Creed. Timing blocks, dodges, and counters matters, and enemies will happily punish you for just spamming light attacks. Between main missions, you take on side quests, bond with important characters, and help or hinder different factions, which can change who shows up to back you later or how certain story beats play out, giving it more weight than a typical open-world checkbox game. There's also a healthy mix of smaller encounters, duels, and exploration rewards to keep the map feeling alive. If you focus mostly on the main story, you're looking at about 20 hours. If you engage with side stories, exploration, and optional fights, it comfortably stretches into the 40 to 55-hour range. Hitman: World of Assassination is what you play when you want pure assassination gameplay without any RPG bloat. You're Agent 47, dropped into large, detailed maps where every NPC has a routine and almost every object can be part of the kill plan. Instead of parkour, the focus is social stealth. You blend into crowds, put on disguises, listen for conversations that reveal weaknesses, and then build a chain of actions that ends with your target dying in a way that looks like bad luck to everyone else. You can snipe from a distance, poison food, cause accidents with equipment, or get in close with silent takedowns. The game rarely forces one approach, and mastering a level is about learning its patterns, not leveling up stats. Each mission is built to be replayed, with challenges pushing you to try new routes and methods, and community-made contracts, or the freelancer mode can keep you busy long after the main story is over. So even though it isn't open world in the Ubisoft sense, each sandbox can hold more replay value than entire regions in other games. A single, straightforward story playthrough can be done in roughly 10 to 15 hours. Ereban Shadow Legacy is for people who are sick of stealth games that secretly want you to go guns blazing. You play as Ayana, the last of a people who can merge with shadows, sneaking through a high-tech city ruled by a powerful corporation that wants to use you as a tool. Most of the time, you're slipping into pools of darkness on walls and floors, sliding underneath drones, and popping out behind robots for quick takedowns before their scanners even tick over to red. Levels are compact but vertical, built around multiple routes, hidden collectibles, and optional objectives, so you're constantly choosing between the fast, risky path and the slower, safer one. You can play non-lethal and leave enemies unconscious, or go full predator and clear entire areas. But getting caught usually means restarting from a checkpoint, so planning actually matters. There's light progression on your abilities, but it never bloats into a loot grind. It stays focused on using your tools cleverly instead of grinding numbers. You can roll credits in about 6 to 8 hours if you move steadily, and seeing all endings, side paths, and challenges can stretch that to roughly 10 to 12 hours. Aragami 2 is built for people who enjoy clearing enemy bases without ever triggering an alarm. You play as a shadow-powered assassin whose life is slowly fading, taking on missions to rescue allies, steal intel, and dismantle enemy forces with as little noise as possible. Missions drop you into compact maps, villages, forts, compounds where you blink between rooftops, cling to ledges, hide around corners, and track patrol routes until you see a perfect gap. You can play full Ghost, never being seen or killing anyone, or go surgical and quietly wipe out every guard on the map, hiding bodies and abusing verticality so no one ever finds the mess. Your skills evolve over time, giving you more options like better takedowns, tools, or ways to control awareness. And co-op lets you coordinate synced assassinations and double distractions that feel incredibly satisfying when they work. Maps repeat with new objectives and layouts, but that also gives you room to refine routes and push for cleaner, faster clears instead of just checking a box once. A straightforward story run will take around 12 to 15 hours, and going for higher ranks, optional challenges, and collectibles can bring that up to roughly 18 to 20 hours. Ghostrunner 2 is pure movement and assassination boiled down into fast, lethal runs. You're Jack, a cyber ninja who dies in one hit, kills in one hit, and treats every room like a parkour puzzle that has exactly one correct answer: don't stop moving. You're wall running across massive gaps, grappling between platforms, sliding under lasers, and dashing through enemy fire, always trying to chain everything into one smooth line from entrance to exit. Enemies are placed to break your rhythm: snipers, shielded foes, turrets, but your tools let you counter them, deflecting bullets, slowing time briefly, or using abilities to take out multiple enemies in a single move if you plan ahead. Later areas mix in vehicle sections and bigger arenas, but the core idea never changes. Memorize the space, experiment with routes, die a lot, and eventually pull off a run that looks like a scripted trailer even though it's all you. It's linear, not open world, but it hits that perfect run, feeling that older Assassin's Creed parkour almost had before it got slowed down. Most players finish the campaign in around 10 to 12 hours, with full cleanup, collectibles, and extra challenges bringing total playtime up to about 14 to 16 hours. Dishonored 2 is a first-person stealth assassin game that gives you the same hunt a target in a dense city feeling as Assassin's Creed, but with way more freedom in how you approach each mission. You play as either Emily or Corvo after a coup throws the Empire into chaos. Your job is to take your city back by quietly removing the people who stole it from you, one level at a time. Most of your time is spent reading guard routes, climbing balconies and pipes, slipping through side alleys, and breaking into buildings through windows or rooftops to get above your enemies before they ever know you're there. Powers and gadgets let you play loud or quiet, blink or far reach across gaps, link enemies so one takedown drops a whole group, or go for a ghost run and never be seen at all. But the game always gives you multiple paths and rewards, planning over brute force. The chaos system reacts to how violent you are. The more bodies you leave behind, the harsher and more hostile the world becomes, which pushes you to think twice before turning every fight into a slaughter. If you rush the main story, expect roughly 12 to 15 hours. A normal, careful stealth playthrough usually lands closer to 16 to 22 hours, and full completion with collectibles and multiple runs can stretch beyond 35 to 40 hours.